Apple has completely redesigned the camera app in iOS 26, and if you're using the iPhone 17 Pro Max, there are several hidden shortcuts and gestures that many users don't even know about. So in this video, I will show you some useful tips and tricks inside the new camera app that can help you capture photos and videos faster and more efficiently. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first tip is about photographic styles. Photographic styles intelligently adjust specific colors in different parts of your photo to create a custom look and mood. You can capture photos with photographic styles in both high efficiency and most compatible formats. However, there is an important difference. If you shoot in high efficiency, you can edit or change the photographic style later in the Photos app, and you can even apply a style to photos that did not originally have one. But if you capture photos in most compatible, the style cannot be edited later. So capturing photo in high efficiency gives you more flexibility when customizing the look of your photos. Next, let's explore a feature designed for capturing tiny details. When you are in photo mode, the camera automatically switches to macro mode when you move very close to a subject, usually within about 2 centimeters. When this happens, you will see a yellow flower icon indicating macro mode is active. However, when recording in slow-mo or time-lapse, macro mode doesn't activate automatically. In those cases, switch to 0.5x, which uses the ultra-wide lens, and then move the camera closer to your subject. This allows you to capture detailed macro shots even in slow-mo or time-lapse, which is great for filming small objects, textures, or tiny details. Now let's move from photos to video and fix a problem many people notice while recording. Sometimes when you're recording under certain lighting conditions, you might notice flickering or banding in your footage. This usually happens when the frame rate you are recording at doesn't match the frequency of the light source around you. To fix this, you need to match your video frame rate with the power frequency used in your region. If you are in European or most Asian countries, you should record at 25 fps. If you are in countries like the United States, you should use 30 fps. Since I'm in an Asian country, I will switch my frame rate to 25 fps. To do this, open Settings and then scroll down to Camera and tap on Record Video. From there, choose one of the PAL options. If you're shooting in 4K, select 4K at 25 fps PAL, and if you're recording in Full HD, choose 1080p at 25 fps PAL. If you don't see these options, simply enable Show PAL Formats. Once enabled, your video should no longer have flickering or banding issues. Now let's talk about how to capture maximum detail using the full power of the iPhone camera sensor. Normally the iPhone captures photos at 24 or 12 megapixels, even though the main camera sensor is capable of shooting at a full 48 megapixels. If you want to capture photos at the full 48 megapixel resolution, you will first need to enable a couple of settings. Start by opening Settings, scroll down to Camera, then tap Formats and turn on ProRAW and Resolution Control. Once that is enabled, open the camera app. Now at the top left corner, you will see an HEIF option. Tap on it and then select 48 megapixels. Now your iPhone will capture photos at the full 48 megapixel resolution. But there are a few important things to keep in mind. First, 48 megapixel photos can only be captured using the 0.5x, 1x or 4x camera lenses. If you zoom beyond that or switch to another lens, the camera will automatically drop back to 12 megapixels. Second, the aspect ratio must be set to 4:3 to capture photos at 48 megapixels. And finally, make sure you're shooting in good lighting conditions, because the camera needs enough light to capture the full high resolution image. So if you want the maximum detail and the sharpest possible photos, shooting at 48 megapixels is definitely the way to go. Next, let's look at a simple setting that can change how your selfies appear. When you take a selfie, the preview you see on the screen is mirrored, similar to looking into a mirror. However, when the photo is saved, the iPhone flips it back to its normal orientation. Because of this, the saved photo may look slightly different from what you saw in the preview. If you want the photo to look exactly like the preview, enable Mirror Front Camera. To do that, go to Settings, open Camera and then turn on Mirror Front Camera. Now your selfies will be saved exactly as you see them on the screen. Now let's talk about a feature that helps you record smoother videos while you are on the move. It is called action mode. Action mode adds extra stabilization when you are filming moving scenes, like when you are walking or running while recording. It works best in bright lighting conditions. If you try to use it in low light, the camera may want that more light is needed. However, you can enable action mode lower light to make it work better in darker lighting conditions. To enable it, open settings, go to camera, tap record video and turn on action mode lower light. This slightly reduces the level of stabilization, but it allows the camera to work better in darker lighting conditions. Now let's look at some powerful shortcuts you can use directly from photo mode. When you are in photo mode, you don't always need to switch to other modes like portrait or video to capture different types of shots. For example, if the camera detects a face, you will see an F icon at the bottom left of the viewfinder. Tap it and the camera will instantly switch to portrait mode. If you want to change the lighting style, tap the lighting effects icon at the bottom right and choose from different portrait lighting options. You can also record a video without leaving photo mode. Simply press and hold the shutter button to start recording. If you want to record hands-free, swipe the shutter to the right and place it on the lock icon. Now the video will continue recording without needing to hold the button. And if you drag the shutter to the left, the camera will start taking burst shots, capturing multiple photos in quick succession. You can also take burst shots by pressing and holding the volume up button. Just make sure you enable it first by going to settings, open camera and turn on use volume up for burst. Since we briefly mentioned portrait mode, let's explore a couple of useful tricks that can help you get better portrait shots. Portrait mode lets you capture photos with a depth of field effect where your subject stays sharp while the background and foreground are beautifully blurred. It also allows you to apply different lighting effects to enhance your portraits. If you want to adjust the lighting intensity, open camera controls, tap intensity and adjust the slider. And if you want to control the background blur, tap aperture and move the slider to change the level of blur. These adjustments give you much more creative control when shooting portraits. Now let's talk about some important gestures and shortcuts in the camera app interface. When you're in the camera app, you can switch between different camera modes in a couple of ways. You can swipe left or right at the bottom where you see options like photo and video, or simply swipe left or right in the center of the screen. If you swipe left, you will see different modes designed for capturing photos. And if you swipe right, you will see modes designed for recording videos. If you want to access additional settings for the current mode, tap the 6-dot icon at the top right corner to open camera controls. You can also open these controls quickly by swiping up from the camera mode section or by tapping the current camera mode icon once. And when it comes to taking a photo, you can tap the shutter button or press either volume button or use the camera control button on the bottom right side of the phone. Now let's take a closer look at the zoom controls. Right above the shutter button, you will see a few zoom options. Tapping 0.5x activates the ultra-wide lens, which is great for capturing a wider scene. Tapping 1x or 2x uses the main camera, which provides the best image quality. If you tap 1x again, it quickly switches to 1.2x and 1.5x. And tapping 4x or 8x switches to the telephoto lens for closer shots. For more precise control, touch and hold one of the zoom options, and a zoom slider will appear so you can smoothly zoom in or out. You can also pinch on the screen like this to adjust the zoom. Just keep in mind that zoom up to 8x is optical, so the image quality stays sharp. Once you go beyond 8x, the camera switches to digital zoom, which may slightly reduce image quality. Another small but useful feature is controlling the shutter sound when taking photos. Whenever you capture a photo, you will hear the camera shutter sound. If it feels too loud or distracting, you can reduce it by lowering the system volume. To do that, just open Control Center and drag the volume slider down. You can also mute the shutter sound completely by enabling silent mode using the action button. This is especially useful when taking photos in quiet places like meetings, events, or indoors. And those were some hidden camera tips and shortcuts that can help you get the most out of the camera on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more iPhone tips and tricks. Also let me know in the comments which tip was your favorite, or if you know any other hidden camera features I should cover in a future video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.